Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is nuclear war, massive arrests, and a new world order. And before I get going, if you have not listened to the program yesterday, Unfiltered, where you have to go to Prophecy Club, watch prophecyclub.com, or download our app, you really should. Very important. Okay, so it's official. Russia says that they have changed the new nuclear doctrine. Nuke response to massive air attack. What are they talking about? Well, Russia's nuclear doctrine that would allow it to launch a nuclear response, in other words, attack America is where it's really going, nuclear response to a massive air attack has now been changed into the doctrine. In other words, as the West, America, NATO, has continued to attack them, they've continued to draw angry, just like Dmitry was told, and they're continuing to threaten, and the West, America, NATO, is not listening. He says, we will consider such a possibility once we receive reliable information about a massive launch of air and space attack weapons and their crossing our state border. In other words, as soon as a missile, a drone, whatever the attack may be, attacks or crosses their border, they're going to assume that as a nuclear attack, and they're going to attack back. It goes on to say, with Ukraine demanding the right to use Western-supplied weapons to hit deep inside pre-war Russia, and with Russia having pointed out such weapons rely on U.S. satellites to guide them to target, they're saying, you do this, and we will attack. Oh, and here's another one saying it. Putin lowers threshold of nuclear response as he issues new warnings, additional warnings. He's been warning now for several months. New warnings to the West over Ukraine. He says, in a strong new warning to the West, Vladimir Putin said Wednesday that any nation's conventional attack on Russia that is supported by a nuclear power, us, America, nuclear power, will be considered a joint attack on his country. In other words, if America attacks, Russia will attack. And the problem is if we attack on a Monday, they're not going to attack on a Tuesday. They're going to attack at their own time when we're least expecting it, say the prophecies. The threat outlined in a revision of Moscow's nuclear doctrine was clearly aimed at discouraging the West, and we're not listening, from allowing Ukraine to strike Russia with longer-range weapons, and appears to significantly lower the threshold for the possible use of Russia's nuclear arsenal. But we're not paying attention. Why? Well, I think that this is the hand of God. Russia couldn't do any of this. America couldn't do any of this without God's allowing it to happen. And He's allowing it because we've fallen away. Babylon the Great has fallen. Has become the habitation of the devils, the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage every unclean and hateful bird. So it goes on to say, Putin announced that revised version of the document states that an attack against his country by a non-nuclear power with the participation or support, heavy on the word support of a nuclear power will be seen as their joint attack on the Russian Federation. What's it saying? It says that if Ukraine attacks Russia and it's using Western weapons, or if Western or U.S. satellites are guiding those weapons, it's going to consider that as an attack by both Ukraine and America, both Ukraine and Brits or NATO or whoever it wants to. In other words, Russia is getting angry enough, they may be already angry enough, to attack. Now, Stan, do you think that is about to happen? No, I don't, because I haven't seen any of the warning signals that is coming fulfilled yet. Let's keep going, though. He emphasized that Russia could use nuclear weapons in response to a conventional attack, posing a critical threat to our sovereignty. So, if Russia's attacked, if they're threatened, they can attack with nuclear weapons. Kyiv launches mass drone attack on Russia the very next day. So when Russia attacks and destroys America in 1 hour, we can't say we weren't warned. We can't say that we're innocent. Authorities in Russia have said that Kyiv has fired drones into Russian regions bordering Ukraine in attacks that follow Vladimir Putin's suggestion that he wants to change the criteria for Moscow to use nuclear weapons. Now, some reports say that he has not changed that yet. Others say he has changed it. Some reports say that America has not actually attacked Russia yet. Others say that he has. Other reports say that America has not given Ukraine permission to use American weapons to attack Russia. Other reports say they have. But we know, at the end of the day, Russia is going to attack and defeat America in 1 hour. Often without claiming direct responsibility, Ukraine has increased its drone strikes on Russian military facilities to hurt Moscow's war machine. As I've told you, numerous reports, based upon the things that I've read, and I haven't been to Ukraine. I don't know any Ukrainians. And by the way, I'm not attacking the Ukrainian Christians. I'm not attacking the good people in Ukraine. And I'm sure that there are some good people in Ukraine. But overall, Ukraine, according to what I've read, is the start. It's the home of Nazism. Then it went to Germany. Actually to Switzerland, then to Germany. And now by us helping Ukraine, we're helping Nazis. Okay, it's the same spirit. So it's probably one of the most evil nations. And this guy, Vladimir, what's his name, from Ukraine, that keeps coming to begging for more money, and we keep giving him more money. That's one thing I hope that Trump will stop. Not only stop the war, but stop giving money to Ukraine. Okay. U.S. and U.K. officially approved long-range attacks into pre-war Russia. I want you to notice the date. This is September the 10th. So this account says we have approved. Other accounts say that we haven't approved. And if you read the article, and I've already read this, I'm not going to go through it again, but it goes on to say that when the missiles that America has sent to Ukraine land on Russian soil, killing Russians, he says that they have the right to attack. He says we have made a very, very bad mistake. So you can read the article. I paused long enough. You can pause it and you can read it. I've already read it here a week or so ago. Okay. But let me remind you, August the 3rd of 1984, the angel Gabriel visited Dmitry Duduman. I had him in my home a couple of times. I went to his home. I knew him well. Died in, I think it was May 1997. The angel came to him and said, "Get beside me." Took and showed him all of California, Las Vegas, and New York. He said, "You see what I've shown you? All of this is Sodom and Gomorrah, and one day it will burn." He said, "How will it burn? America is so powerful." He said, "The fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. The government will be busy with internal problems. Then from the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and two other countries I can't remember will attack and defeat America in one day and 1 hour. So great riches will come to naught. Then God will raise up China, Japan, and many of the nations. They'll go against the Russians and defeat the Russians, back the Russians to the gates of Paris, where they sign a peace treaty, but they make the Russians their leader. Under the leadership of the Russians, all the world goes down to attack little Israel. Israel can't help the Jews in America, so she cries for Messiah. Jesus returns in the clouds and defeats the armies of the earth. When's that going to happen? Well, we know that before that happens, Omar ushers in Palestinian state. The Palestinians are given a state. That hasn't happened. We know that massive amounts of oil will be found in Israel. That hasn't happened. However, the massive arrests are going to lead to a big step in that direction. I thought this was interesting. I got this in an email today. It says, "Did you know that Congress can only be arrested when adjourned?" I thought, oh, that's right. October 1st, Congress adjourned for 30 days. Let's let's look at this. Let's back off. I covered this a couple of weeks, I guess a week ago. You recall, Dudeman, as I just said, August 3rd, 1984, had the angel give him the warning. Well, August 3rd of 2024 is 40 years. Well, how long did it rain? 40 days, 40 nights. How long did Israel wander in the desert? 40 years. 40 is the number of judgment. So I can't say that the internal revolution is going to start in 2024. As a matter of fact, I don't think it's going to. But it's certainly getting close. The next thing is, October the 11th through the 13th is the Day of Atonement. And several well-calculated people have said the Jubilee starts this year. Well, if the Jubilee does start this year, and if the Jubilee represents the wealth transfer from the wicked to the church, as Shane Warren basically said, it could be that we could see that Jubilee as early as October the 11th. We could see that would be the massive arrests. All of that is associated. So we're looking at October the 9th, October the 11th, 12th, 13th in there, and also the 16th and the 20th. We've covered that. Okay, the next thing is, what's that going to bring? Well, the prophecies seem to be saying it's going to bring a new financial system. Well, if the old financial system hadn't fallen, can't have a new one, okay? So it may very well be that we're going to start seeing that financial system fall. Well, remember, BRICS meets for their summit October the 23rd and 4th, I believe it is, 24th and 25th. And several people are suspecting that over 100 nations on about or around that date, sometime in latter October, are going to switch from the dollar into the BRICS currency. That would also be the new financial system. So we could see that new financial system, the massive arrests, the Jubilee, all starting in October. Also, now remember, as I said, Congress members can't be arrested in session, and I do believe that's correct. I'm sure now someone will send me the link that proves that. But reportedly, they adjourn October 1 through 31 of 2024. Now, if that's true, that would put the massive arrests taking place in October. I hadn't thought of that. I thought that's interesting. Massive arrests somewhere in the ballpark of 400,000 plus. Also, Warren says that there's going to be a financial system or a financial storm. The dollar will fall, the other prophecies say a third, and then down to zero, worthless as leaves blowing in the wind. And Shane Warren said that the thing that starts that is when they start selling oil and another currency other than the dollar, and that happened June 9th, 2024. That agreement we made with Saudi Arabia 50 years ago expires. And the very next day, they started selling oil in the yuan, meaning there's not going to be a petrodollar, it's going to be a yuan dollar. That's another big thing to remember. And then BRICS, as I said, October 23, 24, death of the dollar. Groover was told that when Russia opens her doors and lets the masses go, the free world will busy themselves with feeding, clothing, housing, and transporting the masses, and will let down their weapons, and that's when Russia will attack. Well, about a week ago, Russia opened its doors for people to come in. But the prophecy says when Russia opens her doors and lets the masses go. Now, in that Russia has opened her doors for people to come in, does it make sense that they're very close to also doing the opposite, opening their doors for the masses to leave? Also remember the prophecy that if America splits Israel, God will split America. And I did look it up. The counting of the Omer is April 13th through June 1st of 2025. So if that prophecy, Omer ushers in Palestinian state, is talking about the counting of the Omer, and we believe it is, then that means we're probably going to look at the conclusion of this war between Israel and the neighbors around her sometime between April 13th and June 1st of 2025, and it'll conclude with giving the Palestinians a state. I also think that Israel's borders will be enlarged, and it may be that I don't think so, but it may be that they've already got back all their land by that time. I don't think so. We did also just send troops to Israel. Remember, one of the prophecies was Israel has attacked America, sends troops. I don't think that's the fulfillment of it yet. What I'm trying to say is these things we've been warned about appear to be all kind of starting here real soon. I can't say for certain October, but it certainly looks like a lot of them are going to be starting October 2024. And that could be, if we split Israel, probably. That's also giving Israel back their Temple Mount access. It may be giving them even more access to other lands. We don't know, but something big is just around the corner. UN approves a bill forming a world government this past week, and now they say all that is needed for their world government is get nations to agree to come into it. Also, the dock worker strike is getting closer. I'll show you, I got an article on that here in just a second. Also, Macron calls for a new European order. He says that the new international order, and he spoke of rethinking relations with Russia amidst the war in Ukraine, and he wanted a new order to maintain peace on the continent and around the world. He says we'll have to rethink, same thing that Kamala Harris is saying, we need to rethink a new form of organization of Europe and rethink our relationship with Russia. In the same way as you have said, we have to build a new international order. It is undoubtedly the greatest challenge of the moment because our old world order today is incomplete and unjust, right? If it's not broken, don't fix it. So we got to break the old system based upon the Bible, based upon what they created coming out of World War II. We need to rethink about the world in a new form, he says. The current world order was created after World War II and is incomplete because it did not take into account climate change, which is, of course, part of the scalar wave. These hurricanes they create, it's all man-made created. It's all created by a scalar wave. Can destroy anything in the air, on the ground, on the sea, under the sea, any place on the globe, anytime they want to. And who knows, maybe even anything in the galaxy, I don't know. FBI intel whistleblower warns Americans, vote, get armed, and have 3 or 4 months of food and pray. Now, I'm going to play a video, about 3 minutes of him saying this. I think it's an important video.
And everybody in the minority party, they're fearing what Donald Trump would do in the next administration while they sit here and they look at the guy who's been persecuted by the FBI. And everybody in the room understands it. Mr. Allen, do you have comments you wish to make? I'll give you about a minute and a half, and then I want to turn the rest of my time to Mr. Jordan.
Yes, sir. I would just say that I consider the hearing today my last act of service as a public servant for the United States of America. And I'll give you my professional opinion. I was an intel professional for our country for many years, and I would give recommendations, and I'd also look at indications and warnings. So I would offer this to the American people as my warning to them. Since this is a warning to the American people, I say, I personally have no confidence that the FBI will rein in its own conduct. I've been persecuted along with Garrett, Steve and Kyle, and countless other whistleblowers. It is my opinion that the Bureau used reprisal and fear to control the workforce. It has been a seemingly effective tactic. I personally believe that there are no current effective checks and balances against them conducting lawless action with any type of correction in a legitimate time frame. I welcome the work of the IG, but I think any type of lawless action, there's no legitimate time frame to rein them back in. Their ability to overclassify information can allow them to stonewall forever. To the American people, you have a duty as a citizen to vote, and I strongly urge you to do so. It's how you participate in the American experience. I know people have doubts about election integrity, but you must vote. It is your claim. Stake your claim and don't forfeit it willingly. Have your voice heard. My other recommendations are in the natural order. First, vote. The second is the Second Amendment. Arm yourself and know how to defend yourself. Make 3 to 4 friends in your neighborhood and promise to come to each other's mutual aid in times of hardship. And during the Great Depression, people stocked up a pantry. So I think that's a good practice, especially in our economic times, and make sure you have 3 to 4 months of food. And as a person of faith, I'd say pray the rosary, go to the First Friday devotions. That's for everybody, all my brothers and sisters of all faiths, and I know I'm Catholic, and read the gospel of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and live it every day. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for the time.
You know, Mr. Allen, the fact that there are servants like you who have borne up under persecution that a lot of political leaders in this country do not care about is the thing that heartens the American people, and I'm confident the American people will resolve the situation.
Now, I can't say what is on this page, but I'll talk for a minute and let you see the location, and I'll let you read about it, because this is the kind of sort of stuff they don't want out, and yesterday's program was filled with the kind of sort of stuff they don't want out. But I put this page up here in case you'd like to read it. I got this in an email, and if you want to type in that address, then you can go and see it. I also encourage you to go watch the program that aired 9/26/2024. It's unfiltered. You can only watch it at prophecyclub.com, watch prophecyclub.com, or on the Prophecy Club app, which is free by downloading from the App Store or Google Play. Also, port workers from Maine to Texas are set to strike Tuesday and expect shortages and higher prices. Call your attention to the bottom right corner where it says effective September 24th, 2024. Atlantic Express will stop accepting new vehicle orders and general cargo at the New Jersey facility. In other words, just like Coverstone said, he saw nothing at sea moving around the world. He saw the Baltic Dry Index was dead. You talk about shutting down the world, apparently they're getting ready to do it. We would think maybe it would be a suitcase nuke that does that, but maybe it's just the Moloch Baal worshippers just cause it to happen. In 2021, I started making bread, and long story short is I believe God showed me that wheat is God's famine food, just like it was famine food back in the 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine, days of Pharaoh and Joseph. And I believe that that's what God has planned to feed his people. And you get it by going to josephskitchen.com. 3 steps. First, you want to get a machine package. Second, you want to order 6 ingredients and watch some videos, download the recipes to be able to make the bread. josephskitchen.com. Most of your long-time storage food, emergency food, all of that, typically are talking $9,000, $10,000 to feed one person for a year. Joseph Kitchen can show you how to do it for around $1,000 a person, and your kids will actually eat it, and it's actually good for you. Here's some bread that I made. In my case, I lost weight, lowered my blood pressure, gives me more energy. I eat a morning, slice in the morning, slice in the afternoon. Always a slice before I go play racquetball. Go check it out, josephskitchen.com. If you don't want to lose your life's savings, if you have an IRA or a 401k, the thing to do is call 800-200-GOLD. 800-200-GOLD. These folks are Christians, and they specialize in helping people not lose their life savings in the event of a stock market crash and things like that. Look, most of the 401ks, most of the IRAs are in paper, backed by paper, and as Lindsey Williams says, if it's in paper, it's worth the paper it's written on. You can lose it all. 1-800-200-GOLD. 800-200-GOLD. Hey, give them a call. Doesn't hurt, doesn't cost you anything. See if they can give you some good advice. If you're out and about and all of a sudden you need gasoline, you need food, and the credit cards aren't working, they aren't taking dollars, then one of the best things to have is right here. It's a prepper bar. Each one of these is a little bit bigger than a credit card. It'll fit in your purse or your billfold, and it breaks into various pieces. So you could give them part instead of maybe more silver, more gold than you need to. Carry it right in your billfold or your purse. This particular one is 5 bars. You don't necessarily need to carry 5 bars with you, but you call 844-771-1776 or prophecyclubbar.com, prophecyclubbar.com, 844-771-1776. When the suitcase nukes, I didn't say if, I said when the suitcase nukes go off, if you want your car to start, if you want your computers and your refrigerators and things like that, anything with a computer chip to work, you want to have one of these from EMPShield.com, EMPShield.com. And they have videos up there. It takes about 10 minutes to put on. It's not complicated at all. And if you use the word prophecy, promo code prophecy, you get a $50 discount, and it helps your prophecy class.